There is no way that Real Madrid will have it all their own way against this lineup. The MLS All-Stars lineup with three players who have played against Real Madrid previously. Bastian Schweinsteiger, David Villa and Sebastian Giovinco can boast varying degrees of success against the European champions. And there is one former Galacticos, of course, in the shape of Kaká, who spent 4 years at Real and won the title with them back in 2012. At the back, there's All-Star debuts for Greg Garza and Johan Kapelov, Tim Howard, Michael Bradley, and now Schweinsteiger will have played for and against the All-Stars. As for Real Madrid, it's mix and match. Established stars with emerging talent. Keylor Navas, Sergio Ramos and Toni Kroos are all first-choice first-teamers. Marco Asensio burst onto the scene last season and continued his good form with Spain's under-21s in the summer. Marcos Llorente and Borja Mayoral had productive loan spells last season and will hope to impress Zidane, while young Moroccan fullback Achraf Hakimi was a real star of the under-19 side that reached the semi-finals of the UEFA Youth League. Real opportunity for one or two of the youngsters in Real Madrid. As for the All-Stars, they will be desperate to claim the biggest scalp in world football. All-Stars were beaten by Arsenal of the English Premier League last season. Prior to that, though, they have been good. They've beaten the likes of Bayern Munich, they've beaten the likes of Tottenham Hotspur and Chelsea over the years. Can they get it right at a packed Soldier Field here? It really is a tremendous atmosphere, and it's a fitting stage for the European champions and, of course, the world champions at club level as well. It was such a successful season for Real Madrid last campaign, and let's not forget it was Zinedine Zidane's first full season in charge. He got pretty much everything right. They managed to pip Barcelona to the title by some 3 points. They did, of course, start well also by claiming the European Super Cup, and that's a fixture that's looming large, isn't it? Because they not only take on Manchester United in Skopje, but they also have the not-so-small matter of another El Clasico coming up with the Spanish Super Cup as well. But their pre-season preparation hasn't been great in terms of results. They've struggled on their stateside tour. They lost out to Manchester United on penalties. They were then thumped by Manchester City in Los Angeles, going down by 4-1. And then the one that really hurt in Miami last time out, when they were 2-0 down after just 7 minutes against Barcelona. They managed to battle back to 2-2, but undone by a Piqué goal 5 minutes after the restart to go down 3-2 in a huge crowd. And it's a packed house here at Soldier Field. They'll all be hoping, you feel, the vast majority, that Real Madrid can get it right against the All-Stars. But there are some star names of some standing in the host lineup, and to a man they will be desperate to get one over Real Madrid. It is a strong looking lineup as well, there is no doubt about that. And the likes of Kaká, the likes of Bastian Schweinsteiger and Michael Bradley, one or two of the local players as well, will be desperate to test their skills and strength against the might of Real Madrid. You're with Dan Roebuck and Matt Jackson for the All-Star Games 2017. Matt, massive opportunity for some of the MLS players.
It is one they'll absolutely relish. No real pressure on the game. They know the pressure comes from their own desire to play well and to test themselves against what they know is going to be a very good team. Okay, it's slightly mix and match, but you don't pull on the Real Madrid jersey without being top quality, whatever age you are. Just a really good opportunity for all the players, and I'm sure the Real Madrid players coming to the end of their tour will really enjoy the game as well. Fantastic venue, big crowd, should be massively entertaining.
Are there points to prove, do you think, for some of the players that have now gone to MLS, the Kakars and Schweinsteigers of the world?
No, I don't think there is. They've got nothing to prove. They've earned the right to be here. They've got fantastic quality. The outcome of the game will not change their lives one way or the other. They can certainly enjoy it. They'll be bumping into old friends, relishing the occasions, and in fairness to those two, probably realising there won't be too many more like this in their careers.
Our referee is Alan Chapman, and we're just about to get this fixture underway as the fireworks continue and the smoke drifts across Soldier Field and away into the Chicago night sky. Can Real Madrid get it right? Will this man stop them? Veljko Paunovic, who was never on the winning side in his playing days when he played in Spain. 11 appearances over his career with the likes of Atletico Madrid and Real Oviedo and Mallorca and Getafe. And able to get it right then. Can he get it right as a coach? We're underway for the 2017 All-Star game. It is the MLS All-Stars against Real Madrid. The All-Stars hoping to bounce back after the defeat against Arsenal 12 months ago. Can they get it right against Real, who will be looking to finish their tour with success after some disappointments already? Certainly the game against Barcelona. Opportunity for one or two of the youngsters, both squads here to test themselves. Schweinsteiger will play it down. Bradley will take a touch. Player that's played for and against the All-Stars, played against them in his Roma days. Here he is once again. Well, the hopeful punt forward. The difficulty you always feel when it comes to the All-Stars is the fact that, yes, there are one or two who know each other from playing with each other either now as teammates for their club side or previously, but it's always going to be difficult for a coach to try and mould a side in such a short space of time.
That's right, the conditions are horrible at the moment, heavy rain falling. It will make for a slick pitch, but it may quicken the game up. Just a little bit of a misunderstanding at the moment. But yeah, you're right, it's impossible to get a real tactical battle in place. It's just send the players out. They're good professionals, they're not here by chance, so they'll approach the game in the right way. It's a pretty standard formation in the 4-3-3 they're playing, and they can just go out and enjoy themselves. Probably not massively intensive in the way that they'll close down altogether. But Real Madrid will play the Real Madrid way, regardless of the personnel that are playing.
Conditions hardly conducive as the rain continues to cascade down. This is Schweinsteiger. Now it's with Garza over on this left-hand side of Atlanta United, who's gone down just clutching a shoulder. Bradley steps up and wins it back. Schweinsteiger swiftly on. This is David Villa, who skips away from one challenge and then is denied by Achraf Hakimi. It's rather short for Keylor Navas, but he just about does enough to send it towards Theo Hernandez, who of course was a big money signing from Atletico Madrid. Garza is still down. This would be a real blow to the full-back, and it doesn't look good. Just an awkward looking fall.
No, but I think he indicated pretty quickly it had come out the shoulder, partially at least, hasn't moved. And this does set up, this talks about players, and this is Isco going to ground, superstar, it's a good tackle, wet pitch. Just a lot, yeah, just nicked out the top of the shoulder. And that does set the tone for the night a little bit. Straight away, they were talking through the headsets, the medical side. Just goes down, and it didn't look a particularly heavy fall. It was almost as he tried to push himself to get back up again that the damage was done.
Well, his expression first and foremost was one of pain and one of disappointment that he almost knew he was going to have to come off, and that'd be a real blow for a player making his debut in the All-Star fixture. It does look like we are going to see a change, and obviously from a club point of view, Tata Martino, his manager at Atlanta, won't want to see him continue. If he can come off and hopefully not be seriously injured. And as he moves gingerly towards the dugout, Garza's game unfortunately is over. It has been good for Atlanta, Greg Garza, after switching from Tijuana in Liga MX. It looks like we're going to see DeMarcus Beasley come on, who will be making a 6th All-Star appearance. Played against Tottenham back in 2015 and Guadalajara in 2012. He played when it was a very different type of fixture, East versus Western conferences. Altidore will chase this one down as Sergio Ramos takes a touch every single time the Real Madrid skipper has the ball at his feet. There are cheers from the supporters. This is Isco. Just a stretch for Mayoral. Manages to keep the ball in Real Madrid possession. Toni Kroos. So again, there's options over on that left-hand side. Theo Hernandez looking to come forward. Infield once again. Well, I'm not quite sure if that was a shot from Kroos or an attempt to just play it inside the penalty area, looking for the movement of his teammates.
Yes, it was a little slid pass that he was trying to make. Great pass that, Schweinsteiger away.
This is Altidore breaking forward from Schweinsteiger's ball. David Villa calling for it. This is David Villa. Can he pull the trigger? Just crowded out. Sergio Ramos renewing rivalries with the former Barcelona striker, and an opportunity now for Real Madrid to come forward. This is Lucas Vázquez. Cleverly done. Vázquez wants it back. Maurel is in space. This is Hakimi over on the right-hand side. 3 to pick out inside the area. Bradley away.
Really good pace of game. Sometimes the exhibition games can be a bit slow in the start. Maybe Isco set the tone with that tackle that he made. Unfortunately, Greg Gar's a recipient of what looks like a match-ending injury. Really disappointing for him. DeMarcus Beasley on to replace him, so really tough on him that.
Teo Hernandez on that left-hand side for Real Madrid. Now it's with Isco. Kroos calling for it. So is Llorente. It is Llorente and a culture ball to this near side. Bit of an awkward bounce, but it's kept down by Lucas Vázquez. Looks to take on Bradley, and still going forward. It's Jelle Van Damme that comes across, in fact.
He makes a tackle he shouldn't be making on a wet pitch. I think he might be the recipient of a bit of charity from the referee.
Bradley back towards Tim Howard. Played for Everton against the All-Stars a few years ago in his Premier League days. Also played on the home side before he moved to England over a decade ago. 38 years old and now back in MLS with Colorado Rapids, of course. Here comes the change eventually. We saw Bradley drop into centre-back and Van Damme come across, and eventually DeMarcus Beasley does come on. He seems an age to get the sub ready. I guess you don't expect in the opening 5 or 6 minutes or so.
No, not easy for him either. You know, mentally you don't really expect to go on at this stage. He's been excellent in the MLS, but he certainly wouldn't have been expecting the introduction.
That's Isco breaking forward, stopped in his tracks by Kapelov. And the star debut for the Dutch defender. Bradley's touch just enough. Kaká takes it up. 4 seasons at Real Madrid, but he was injury prone when he was there. Never started more than 17 La Liga games in a season. Still managed to pick up a title and a Copa del Rey success. This is Nacho. And that came through the academy, had a productive season last campaign. More out than in previously before making 24 starts in La Liga. And now a full Spanish international as well, played in the friendly against Colombia just a couple of months ago. Llorente's touch, now it's with Kroos. Rides one challenge up against Bradley. Looks to lay off, tries to get Maurel in. An injection of pace once again.
Yeah, they're so good the way that they move the ball. Rain abated slightly, and that has just left a really slick pitch. Hardly played a ball in the air, Real Madrid, so far.
Still Madrid coming forward, it's Van Damme. It will knock it high up into the air, and Tim Howard is there to claim.
Just a really good pace, lots of options available for the visitors, demonstrating their technical ability.
Jovinko. Schweinsteiger. Interesting to see Jovinko playing a more midfield role, I guess, here. Always sense that Jovinko, Villa and Altidore, they might get in each other's way a little. But that's a late challenge by Zusi, and that was a nasty one as well. And he knows he was late. He offers apologies. In the spirit of the game, I don't think we're going to get a yellow card, but if this was a competitive fixture in any top league, that would get you one.
Certainly would. Really clumsy, and he's almost trying to pick him up as he goes down. Now, that's not malicious at all. It was just the fact that the touch got away from him so quickly, and he's already committed to a challenge.
Achraf Hakimi breaking forward. Susie playing in his 5th All-Star game. He was ever present from 2012 to 2015. Missed out last year. The Sporting Kansas City man, who's very much a USA international. He can play midfield and right back. We've seen him play for the national side. This is Schweinsteiger. Altidore rides one challenge. Zusi coming forward to better effect now on that right-hand side. Once again up against Teo Hernandez. Schweinsteiger, Zusi. Hakimi lets it bounce a couple of times. Villa quite quick enough to get on the end of that, but it's Kaká that looks to win it back. He's done well, the Brazilian. Isco will pick it up for Real Madrid.
This is where they're so dangerous. Counter-attack with numbers, pace, and they have such vision in that midfield area. They'll pick runners out.
Kroos with a header. Came to him quickly. Just 3 goals in La Liga last campaign, the last against Celta Vigo back in May, but 12 assists in the top flight. He is the man that can make Real tick, alongside the likes of Luka Modric, of course, most usually. Schweinsteiger. First ever All-Star game at Soldier Field, although they have played in Chicago previously. Just outside of it, Toyota Park in Bridgeview, where of course Chicago Fire play their home fixtures. Much bigger stage here with a legion of Real Madrid fans in the USA. Isco to the right-hand side. Lucas Vazquez now for Real Madrid. Back towards Isco. Might try the shot here. Looks to switch it sideways. The eventual shot from Kroos is charged down.
Yeah, Kapov did well, stood really firm on the edge of the box.
Villa first-time ball towards Jose Altidore, breaking forward over on the right-hand side. Sergio Ramos is across. Now it's with Javinko. Kaká calling for it. There is space here. Back towards Altidore. Confident build-up play by the All-Stars. Kaká. And still Kaká, where he's running to Hakimi.
It's just down a bit of a blind alley, unfortunately, but they've been really good with the build-up, the All-Stars. You don't expect as much. They've got such good technical players. David Villa's been brilliant so far. Just looking after the ball, real quality. He wouldn't be too far off being able to play for the opposition. He's had such a good season.
Dozen minutes gone. Open game of football so far, but no goals as yet. Teo Hernandez looking to try and place the ball in field for the running Marco Asensio.
And just here we see centre-half. Strikes him on the arm, but right in front of his body. Natural reaction for Kapelhoff.
Almost as if he was trying to get the arms out of the way by crossing them in front of his chest and the ball striking them, but good decision from Alan Chapman, taking charge of his first ever All-Star game. Just about to get the century up for MLS fixtures that he's officiated in, 99 at the weekend. Asensio once again to the right-hand side. This is Vazquez, who's been tricky and still going, runs into DeMarcus Beasley. Kaká helping out the Houston Dynamo's man. Here is Kaká again. Van Dam, Bradley. It's confident play from the All-Stars. Now it's with Altidore. Zusi on his bike over on the right-hand side. Really entertaining near opening quarter. Altidore will make the move. Can he spin his man here? Still Altidore. And he's strong, but not strong enough to get beyond Llorente, who's done well.
Well, he's done really well, Llorente, because it's an unnatural position for him. It ended up playing as a centre-back because he tracked Altidore back in. Just used his body really well. Altidore, as we know, has bullied a few this season so far. The youngster coped really well with him there.
Llorente, who was part of the Spanish under-21 side at the European Championships at that level in the summer, beaten in the final by Germany. Mayoral, another. Asensio, of course, another. 3 players looking to take their opportunity. 2 out on loan. Asensio, of course, very much part of the first-team squad now. Here he is once again. Scored in the Super Cup last season in that astonishing 3-2 win against Sevilla that was gung-ho from the first minute to the 120th, as it turned out to be. Here is Isco. Vasquez. Isco again, always dropping into pockets of space. Looking to just muscle his way beyond DeMarcus Beasley. Van Dam with a clumsy challenge. Vasquez just gets straight back up, though, to his credit. And then Beasley gives the ball away.
Look how quickly they win it back, though. It's certainly not all about the glitz and glamour of attacking play for Real Madrid. Have to do the bit of graft as well, and they're very quick to go and get in the face of the All-Stars, who have kept ball pretty well themselves. Here we see the little camera view, lovely little nutmegs, and just leading to the shot that was well blocked from Kappelhoff.
First time that Real Madrid have played an All-Star game. It's not the first time that they've played at Soldier Field, though. They took on Chivas de Guadalajara back in 2005, and they first had played in the United States back in the mid-20s. Took on a team called Brooklyn Gaelic, a 1-1 draw back in 1927. Also, of course, played Manchester United, that huge crowd at Michigan Stadium, Ann Arbor, 109,000 plus. 105,000 when they took on Chelsea just a couple of years later. Really are a huge draw wherever they go naturally. Isco inside the full-back, looking for the run of Marco Asensio.
A little lesson for Llorente. From Kaká, then gets his own back by kicking Sergio Ramos. They've duelled in far more important games. Look at the little bit of skill there. Llorente done all ends up just by a bit of experience. Shame he couldn't quite pick it up afterwards. He's loving it out there, loving the stage as all the superstars come to life.
This is a game that they want to play. It's no just rock-up celebrity game that no one is interested in. They're desperate to do well. They're proud to make the squad. Just listening to a number of the players ahead of this fixture, and every single one of them says, yeah, this is my third time, this is my second, this is my fifth, whatever it may be. They're desperate to get the nod one way or another. And not just enjoying themselves here against Real Madrid, but you sense there is a little bit of an edge to the game as well, as it should be. Isco flicks it forward. Marco Asensio runs into trouble. Kaká scored a wonderful goal for Orlando against Atlanta at the weekend. Now it's with Altidore, who's been in goal-scoring form for club and country, who scored in the Gold Cup final against Jamaica recently, a 2-1 success for the United States. David Villa battles, should be cleared away by Hakimi once again.
And it's a fabulous athlete, Hakimi. He's gone up and down this right flank a number of times already. Good with his defensive responsibilities, but looks to join in every available opportunity.
David Villa, good, great awareness to pick out Zuzi. Now it's with Kaká. Kroos is back. Kaká once again, 3 white shirts around him. Giovinco. Bradley. Giovinco wants it back. Here is the Toronto striker. Zuzi has it. Schweinsteiger's made a move forward. Giovinco again. Schweinsteiger, the back heel is good. Kaká with a low ball looking for Altidore, but that's a good block from Theo Hernandez.
Yeah, they'd be disappointed, Kaká, with all his ability. That was a great setup to him, and you'd expect him to miss that first defender. Some really good play from the All-Stars.
David Villa, well, even Giovinco can't get to that one on this idea.
Oh, he's been brilliant so far, Villa. He's just tucked over on this left-hand side, so he sees all the play open up on his right foot as he checks back inside. Up to that point, had been fully successful with all of his passes.
28 times previously David Villa has played against Real Madrid. 10 goals, 10 times on the winning side. Kappelhoff steps up. And again, another night, different competition. That might be a booking.
Just too quick. Commits himself to the tackle. Again, nothing malicious. Just pace of play.
Interesting to see the referee cam and how he saw it.
It's actually a really difficult game to referee because you can't be too lax and let everything go. You know, he understands the players aren't likely to be getting too fractious with each other. It's not going to be a particularly nasty game in that regard, but you can't make a mockery of the game either by not actually adhering to the rules when it comes to the important time.
Thrilling effort that Tim Howard had covered. Isco getting some good positions in the game already. Theo Hernandez likewise.
And he's always going to join in from left back. Tim Howard, as you say, quite comfortably covering the shot.
Isco taking it on, 10 goals last campaign. So scored in the Champions League semi-final away leg against Atletico Madrid, just when Atleti thought they might pull off something remarkable. His goal stopping the comeback in the tracks. Close goes down. The shot flashed in, and this time a lot closer. That was struck with some venom by Lucas Vazquez.
Yeah, and Tim Howard didn't have that one covered. That flashed by the left-hand upright before he could even move.
A couple of sighters from Real Madrid, and they are getting closer. And the All-Stars are giving the ball away again. Llorente looking to come forward this time. Now it's with Vazquez once again. Bradley in the way. Kaká second to that. Isco pulling the strings in midfield. Now there's another opportunity. Boyameral wants it. Instead, it's Tim Howard that makes the save, and it's so close to Vazquez to get something on that.
Makes a really good save, though. Lot of power in the shot. It comes in. He does really well to parry it. No one would have particularly known where the save was going. Got lucky, but deserved it for the quality of the save.
David Villa. All-Stars shaken just a little here. Now it's with Giovinco. Altidore, two Toronto strikers looking to team up again, but the flag was up. He just makes the move a split second too soon.
And it's lethal when you turn the ball over in your own half. Lovely ball switched, and just so much space over on that left-hand side.
Marco Asensio with a shot.
Yeah, he struck it really well with the left foot. Really natural. See the width that he's given there at the top of the screen again.
Here he is once more, 2 to aim. Matt Kroos is one of them. Van Damme steps up. Schweinsteiger nods away. Giovinco takes down. Runs into trouble. Llorente is there. Now it's with Bradley, though. Zusi. Altidore under pressure immediately from Theo Hernandez, who wins the ball cleanly. Stops for a second. Referee waves play on. Schweinsteiger a little bit late. Well, how many more of these is he going to let go?
Yeah, and he's gone through the back of Kroos. He's had a little kick at Isco. Probably he just won't want them showboats, and they haven't done so far. But look, they'll go hunting as well. Real Madrid, they'll go after the ball, no problems. Forcing these rushed errors, and the All-Stars will be delighted just to pick up a foul here. One thing, yeah, Schweinsteiger is experienced enough to know that he doesn't want his team getting humiliated, doesn't want them being played round, and they just had a really tough 5 minutes there. Hadn't been able to get out at all, hadn't been able to string any passes together, couldn't get territorial advantage. Sometimes it just takes a bit of a tackle to break that up.
First time we've seen a La Liga club take on the All-Stars. Usually it's been an English Premier League side. They've always been successful. This is David Villa, tries to slip it through for Altidore. Again, he's a little late there, David Villa, and Alan Chapman's going to halt play.
Yeah, just because players are going to ground because of the wet weather, and again, nothing malicious. David Villa is never going to kick someone here. Nacho just getting caught a little bit on the shin, but it was Nacho that had gone to ground to make the tackle in the first place. And it does just leave you a little bit vulnerable at times.
Hakimi. Llorente. Close to turn. And to find space on this near side as Hakimi looks to come forward once again. This is Vazquez up against Van Damme and still going. Cool ball to the far post is safely nodded behind by Zusi, who's taking no chances whatsoever.
No, he had a little quizzical look at Tim Howard just to say could have had a shout to head that one back. Vazquez, such quick feet. Absolute nightmare for someone like Van Damme going up against him in a one-on-one situation.
Altidore will nod away. Javinko picks up the loose ball through the legs of Toni Kroos, and the All-Stars could be away. Kaká right-hand side, Schweinsteiger left, neither blessed with too much pace. This is David Villa, he's into trouble, and Real Madrid managed to win it back. This is Sergio Ramos.
Yeah, good skill from Javinko. Someone like him, he'll really want to test himself. He'll feel at the peak of his powers in terms of lots to prove to the European game.
Amaral. Back for Isco, now it's with Vasquez. Still Vasquez. Hakimi has to stretch to keep that one in play, but he does. Likewise Van Dam. This is DeMarcus Beasley, and back with Tim Howard. Kroos will do the pressing. Howard will clear. Altidore takes a touch. Zusi. Jose Altidore once again. His on-side debut against Spurs a couple of seasons ago as a substitute, and a 2-1 success. Of course, for a lot of his career in Europe. Never quite made it in England, but had a good spell, of course, in the Netherlands. Top goal scored in the Eredivisie. Shot flies in again, and this time it's just wide. The effort from Borja Mayoral.
Hasn't had that many chances inside the area, but just pulled himself off into a lovely bit of space. Only one thing in his mind as he takes the touch out of his feet. Tim Howard, again, has got his angles pretty good. It's a really drilled strike. Maybe just needed a bit of curl on it. First sighter for the centre-forward.
A couple of goals on loan at Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga last campaign for the 20-year-old. Another under-21 performer in the European Championships at that level in the summer. Bradley, of course, was on Gold Cup duty for the United States. He's got a brilliant goal in the World Cup qualifier against Mexico. Isco, they back away from him. No ball in from Teo. He's comfortably cleared by Zusi, but All Stars were chasing back towards their own goal.
And Teo just loving playing, nominally playing at left back, but he's been at left wing and he's tucked inside, and that's what Real Madrid are, just a collection of outstanding footballers. Position almost irrelevant, really.
Well, he's been the big money signing so far this summer, 30 million euros reportedly. It's Marco Asensio back towards Teo Hernandez. Isco calling for it. And Ceballos, of course, has come in as well. There might be a little bit more movement, you feel, because there's been quite a few shuttled out of the Bernabeu. This is Hakimi looking to dart away from Beasley. Does he catch his man?
He certainly does. Oh, wow.
It's a wag of the finger from DeMarcus Beasley.
I mean, he was on toast when he was one-on-one. I just can't see a way he makes the challenge. I still can't see a way that he makes the challenge.
Achraf Hakimi goes down. We're still a few days away from video reviews. Come the weekend, DeMarcus, you might have been pulled up for that one.
Well, it won't change his life particularly, and he won't be too bothered, but I think that's two they should have had so far. Van Dam's possibly might have been just outside the area.
Kroos with a corner. Swinger. Nodded away, but only towards Isco. Forward in white, still white. Isco looks for an opening. Clever to the byline here. David Villa slides in, gets the ball, not the man, as Lucas Vasquez looks to drive inside the penalty area.
David Villa acknowledging to his opponent that he had to go to ground to make the tackle.
Short, I think, is the signal here. Sergio Ramos is up, so is Nacho. It falls to a centre half, and really you want your striker to take on a chance with a high tariff such as that.
Yeah, it's one they've worked, though. Sign language seemed to create the opportunity. Be a bit disappointed, Nacho. Didn't get a decent contact at all. Wow, that's dangerous.
It is indeed, and an opportunity for Real Madrid. Schweinsteiger is there just when the opportunity seemed to present itself for Borja Mayoral. It's been one or two balls like that across the All-Stars penalty area. Bradley for Schweinsteiger. Coming up to the half hour, no goals. Real Madrid, a number of sighters, and certainly have had the ball in dangerous areas. Zuzi's back heel works out. Bradley over the top. Altidore will chase this one down. Achraf Hakimi, though, does well again, this time from a defensive point of view, up against David Villa and Altidore and Giovinco. Slide rule ball to the left-hand side, and suddenly it's Real Madrid coming forward once again. Marco Asensio wants the pull back from Isco, but he's just running out of play. He's been very lively over the opening half an hour. We are going to see a change. Obviously, there are a number of planned alterations to try and get most of the players on at one stage or another, and Nacho Piatti is the first to come on, the Argentine for Jose Altidore, who's had a lively half an hour. He's had one or two decent runs, but no joy out of a experienced Real Madrid back line. It'll be fascinating to see just what Nacho Piatti can do. He'll offer something different. Did play against Arsenal in the All-Stars defeat 12 months ago.
Yeah, good that it's made just really in a break of play, straight on, straight off, so doesn't alter the balance of play, doesn't alter the tempo, which has been very good so far for an exhibition game. It's been excellent. It's been some really good passing, certainly aided by the slick surface, some slightly naive passing, and a bit of chance taken as players try and show their skills off.
Van Dam for Howard. David Villa nods it back, and it will fall for Bradley. Nacho Piatti. Montreal Impact fame, of course. Zuzi has to try and take on his man, but Theo Hernandez has got a little bit too much about him here. Now it's with Llorente. Since a South American such as Piatti will always enjoy and revel in a fixture such as this is Giovinco. Now it's with David Villa. Still David Villa looking for Kaká. Hooked away. Lucas Vázquez. Bradley the covering defender. Achraf Hakimi. Kroos. Moyaral. Isco. Theo Hernandez, who already looks like a very good signing.
Yeah, it's an absolute Rolls Royce, isn't it?
Oh, that's a delightful chip from Isco and an opportunity. Howard makes the save. The clearance is fluffed. It's Lucas Vázquez here. It's on his right side. Achraf Hakimi. Marco Asensio. Kroos involved. Again, it's curled inside the box. This time, Zuzi can nod away. This is Isco to take it down. Oh, that's good skill. Piatti claiming he didn't get the man, but I think there was an accidental touch, but certainly a foul.
He's loving himself. Isco is enjoying the environment. Piatti knows that he just caught him. It was an unexpected little twist that Isco threw in on the edge of the box. And this is a perfect opportunity as well for Real Madrid. Really good position. Having finally been given something in that final third. Why not let your centre-half take it?
He scored 7 goals in the league last season. He's always good. A 5, 6 or 7 a campaign. 68 in his La Liga career. Is he going to try one here? Looks like the skipper's going to pull rank. Kroos hands on hips. Sergio Ramos with a curler. Over the wall, but just hasn't got the dip to find the top corner.
He was so confident, wasn't he? Stood over it. And in fairness, Tim Howard was, as soon as the ball left the foot, he didn't really... Whether he was nonchalantly praying and hoping that it wouldn't go in that top corner and knew he couldn't do anything about it anyway. It certainly looked cool enough.
Bradley's touch for DeMarcus Beasley, who was press-ganged into action very early on in this fixture. You'll recall an injury to Greg Garza. This is Bradley again. Schweinsteiger quickly on. DeMarcus Beasley. Spells in European football, of course, with Manchester City and Rangers and one or two others. Kimi once again, that's cleverly done, and then Moyaral, his effort is blocked, not for the first time. Marco Asensio over on that left-hand side, gets half a yard. Lucas Vázquez, and then the shot, this time just wide again. How many times Kroos on this occasion?
Close for Kroos. certainly was. But what great build-up again. They just play first-time passes. That's the secret. There's so many options. The vision of the players is so good. They're not even massively complicated, but they just move the ball so quickly. That's why they draw fouls against them, because opposition players just can't get close.
Van Dam away. David Villa takes it down. The back heel for Kaká doesn't come off. They were in the opening 5 or 10. Now they're not. Although a mistake has allowed Giovinco to steal in. Here's an opportunity for the All-Stars. Kaká. Giovinco wants it back. Kaká wants to go himself. David Villa! Terrific stop. Keylor Navas, how on earth did he keep that one out?
Well, with absolute brilliance. And Villa will be disappointed. I think his first instinct is to go the other side of him. Then he tries to do him with the eyes. He's going to look and see how big that space was around him. And we see the first shot. Tim Howard again with a nonchalant one, but this is good play. Kaká really persistent, good bit of pace, and it's just opened up to maybe just go the other side. Really good save with the right hand from Navas.
Costa Rican keeps Real Madrid all square. Corner whipped in by Giovinco. Got the final touch on that. Just a goal kick.
Oh, Kaká's still got that bit of pace as well when he bursts forward, creating the opportunity for Villa, and he'll be really disappointed. It was an excellent save. He'll appreciate the fact that it was a really good save. But what a great chance for him.
Played, of course, against Real for Atletico in the Champions League final back in 2014. David Villa also played against Zidane for his national side against France back in the World Cup 2006. Long history against Real Madrid. Should have been an 11th goal against them. Beasley. Giovinco. Crossfield ball from the Italian doesn't work out. Did play for Juventus against Real Madrid in the Champions League group stages a few years ago now. Unable to finish on the winning side. Gareth Bale looking on. Will he get a go, I wonder? Injury hit campaign. The 16-17 season for the Welshman. Struggled with ankle and calf problems. Only a substitute in the Champions League final. Where does his future lie, I wonder? Talked about the players that have come in, just a couple so far for Real Madrid, but a number have left. Pepe, of course, after such sterling service on a free to Turkish side Besiktas. James Rodriguez out on loan to Bayern. Of course, Fabio Contrao on loan. Morata now with Chelsea, Danilo with Manchester City. Do sense there might be one or two spots open on the roster. Here is Sergio Ramos. He'll still be first choice, that's for certain.
And look at his desire after all those years, captain in the side. Give and go with 30 yards from goal, and he's now stranded somewhere up near the opposition 6-yard box.
In a hurry to get back, this is David Villa. Piatti's a nice idea and he applauds the attempt, but it just bounces away from the Argentine.
Yeah, just didn't want to go for the massive overstretch to try and get on the end of that from Villa.
Schweinsteiger plays it down. We're approaching half-time. It's been entertaining so far. No goals, plenty of chances.
Well, the tactical level of passing has been absolutely excellent. Keep saying it's obviously helped by a very wet Soldier Field pitch, but it has been absolutely excellent. Pass completion rates have both been pretty high. Lots of passes made. Ball hardly in the air at all. And it has really flown by, which is a good sign in these exhibition games.
Van Dam for Bradley. And again, he's had the greatest season with the LA Galaxy. He's been sent off 3 times in MLS this season. Zuzi Flag is going to go up here as David Villa just makes his move just a split second too soon.
Just gambling. 35 years or so in those legs. Means you have to be a little bit more astute. Probably caught offside one or too many times more, but have to do that to make sure you get in at all.
Lucas Vázquez on this near side for Real Madrid. He's been clever and quick throughout this opening 40 minutes. Isco likewise. Theo Hernandez over on that left-hand side, if spotted. Marco Asensio. And still turns away from one challenge and whips in the shot. This time it's further wide.
Far more comfortable. He's got such good balance though. Keeps drifting into that inside left sort of channel. Picks lots of balls up off the midfielders.
Real Madrid win it back. This is Toni Kroos coming forward. Lucas Vázquez on the right-hand side. Mayoral waits inside the penalty area. Isco, step over. Can he get away from DeMarcus Beasley? Theo Hernandez lurking on that left-hand side, always willing to let fly. Scored a sensational goal last campaign whilst on loan at Alaves.
Yeah, he sits really nicely for him. Only one intention in his mind as that ball came out to him. Took a really good touch with the left. Tim Howard really forcing the play from the back. Admire him for that because it's brave to do.
Real Madrid dominating in terms of attempts. 15. Not that Tim Howard's had a serious save to make just yet. The other end, Keylor Navas has. Llorente with the skill.
What a player he is, by the way. I mean, he's been involved in everything. He's dropped back in at centre-half when he's needed to. Looks after the ball. He's had as many touches as anybody else. Don't remember him giving it away.
Comes from good stock, of course. Marcos Llorente. Father Paco, great uncle Francisco Gento, both wingers. This is Kaká. All Stars lose out. Real Madrid have possession, looking to nudge ahead as half-time approaches. Isco. Sergio Ramos has raced forwards here. It's Sergio Ramos! Tried to just chip it over Tim Howard. Maybe he needed to put the laces through it.
Well, he knows he did as well. He was trying to be a bit too cute and a bit too clever. He makes a great run. Look at his desire, but Isco, what a pass. Lovely touch. And he's just trying to take a bit of a liberty there. If you're a centre-half and you find yourself centre-forward, even if you're as good as Sergio Ramos, sometimes just sticking it in the back of the net is probably the best result.
Would have been a special goal. As it is, some opportunity missed. Lucas Vázquez once more on this near side. Marcus Beasley finds Bradley. Kaká lets it run through cleverly. Nacho Piatti. Kaká once again. David Villa kills the ball. Piatti's on the move, but ignored for now by the Spaniard. Here is the New York City FC player once again. Drills it over to Zusi of Sporting Kansas City. Orlando's Kaká. This is David Villa first time.
Oh, that's his trademark. The first time whip shot with the right foot. Probably just comes to him a little bit too quickly from Kaká.
Scored against Tottenham in the 2015 All-Stars success. 14 this campaign. 6 in his last 7 for NYCFC.
And it's him that started as well with a lovely ball out to Zusi. Doesn't take him too long to see a pass opening up.
Isco to clear the ball over the top, and it's not just a clearance, is it? It bounces brilliantly into the path of Lucas Vázquez on this right-hand side. Mayoral calling for it, might go himself. It's on his left side. And it ricochets up off Van Dam. Always sense that he's not his favourite side, the left boot, but even so.
I mean, in these situations, it's a nightmare. Beasley does well, just drifts inside, pointing. And yeah, Van Dam just gets across to get his body in the way.
In-swinger this time, they're queuing up. Sergio Ramos was one of them. Kaká picks up the loose ball up against Kroos. Makes it look easy, knocks the ball away from the Brazilian and rampages forward. Toni Kroos has got Isco to his left-hand side. He's still going forward here! Van Dam nods it away, whether that was goal-bound or not. Not quite so sure, but a clever and silky run.
Pretty sure it would have been. Toni Kroos just ghosting between a couple of defenders. Probably be delighted. Half-time 0-0. Get into the change room. We've done our bit, boys. Hand over to you for the second half, for the substitutes for the MLS All-Stars team. This game's only going to get tougher.
Out swinging this time to the far post. That's Nacho. Unlike the first effort that he had earlier on in the half, can't get on the end of that one to any real effect. We're into 1 minute of added on time. There's bound to be changes at half-time, but players that we've seen in the first 45 have really contributed to a hugely enjoyable game. It's just remarkable that we haven't seen a goal.
And certainly a Real Madrid goal, although David Villa's chance was as good as any that there's been.
It's the time for one last opportunity. Van Dam for Kaká. Giovinco has to stretch, but he uses his strength well, does the Italian, and still coming forward from distance. Good hit, just wide!
Yeah, Navas having to get his kit dirty for the first time. This was close from Giovinco. Only one thing in his mind, this sort of game, why not? Burst forwards really well. And a lovely little pass, good awareness and good strength. That little low centre of gravity giving him the power. Oh, took it so early as well. Navas wasn't really set with his feet, that's why he's had to take to the air. And that's what draws a very good first half to a close.
Giovinco going close, not the only one. Llorente's been neat and tidy in midfield. We've seen Kroos go close. We've seen David Villa denied. As it is, it's the All-Stars who are denying Real Madrid, who've had more of the ball, more of the opportunities, but haven't managed to find the back of the net. Half-time at Soldier Field in the All-Stars game. It's MLS All-Stars 0, Real Madrid 0.